Hey everyone, I wanted to take a minute to talk about Inventor sketches, dimensioning, and constraints, and how sometimes they can interfere with each other, or constraints can move things in ways that we didn't expect them or want them to move, and how we can go about preventing that. Well, so this is purple. So when something is purple, it means it's not fully constrained. And that could either be that it's missing a dimension or it's missing another type of constraint. If it's fully constrained, it will be black. If it, like, let's say, I don't know which element is not constrained, so I kind of have to guess on this. But let's say I click that and I change it to 35 inches and hit enter. It's going to work off of whatever constraints you have. So there's something here constraining that these lines are tangent to this. But for some reason not the same thing in the top, and there was nothing saying that it should be equal all the way through. If we were to redo this, leave it at the 32 and hit enter, it will stay. We can try to add more dimensions and more constraints. And now see, I added some things. Now it's black. That means it's fully constrained. Nothing will change. But what can happen sometimes is, like let's say you're missing a constraint, you go to add one. It could move things around. A good one to start with here is coincident constraint. It constrains 2 points together, so it can give you like a starting base point. So that would be if there's two things overlapping, like let's say you could have a coincident constraint between this point and the origin. This point on the sketch that this one is doing and the origin of the plane. If you don't have that, you can also do, so now I'm kind of working on different sketches. I don't believe this point is a part of this sketch. I think it's part of another sketch. But like you can add constraints to dimensions to also do something similar. So I would just play around it with the order that you constrain things. There was a student, I don't remember what student it is, so I'm not going to be able to open it up. But in this one, this one I think. In this sketch, let's say you just had the circle. So I'm working with constrained geometry, which is why it automatically went to that black color. But let's not even do that actually. Let's start a new sketch on that same plane. And I'm going to do that so I'm not constraining to points. So I'm also going to go a little wide so that you can see what I'm talking about. So let's say I get something like this. One of the constraints this is missing is this tangent constraint between this and this. We want those to be tangent so that they flow, the slope is equal where they meet. So what happens when I applied that constraint is it could either take this line and move this line so that it's coming out of this, which is really kind of the goal if I know I made this the right dimension, or it could move this or shrink this depending on if I specify the location or the size of this, and that can cause issues. So let's say I want it to be the first thing. So you see that that wasn't how it constrained. It moved this circle. So if I want it to instead move this line, what I can do then is specify this point and its dimensions relative to another point, so let's say the origin. And that should honestly do it. I don't think it would shrink the circle, but if we want to be extra careful, we can add a dimension for this diameter. And that should, oops, I don't want to close out of it though. I'll stay in my sketch. Um, it should work anyway, but I'll show you how that, see, it did change. Okay, it did change the diameter of this. So let's specify a dimension there. When we do that, we should see that this turns black because we fully dimensioned it. We've specified where the point falls, and we've specified the diameter of the circle. There's nothing else that can change about this specific point. This one, though, can. I believe there's a coincident constraint down here, which means if we then go in with a tangent constraint, that should fully constrain this and turn it into black line and get us that clean slope. Okay. Thank you so much. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you soon.